Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. I know it's been a while. It's probably my third video back, though. But I had a really deep rest for about, I think it's been 6 weeks or 8 weeks. It's been a long time. So, yeah. But I'm really content. So that's kind of a good thing. I've made a shift, so inside. It feels really good. So we're going to get started with our bougie candle. We're going to light our sage. Go, people. The fire stars that love to see fire, I know you're out there. I know you're watching me. Alright, let's get our sage going just a little bit. Got a new one in the back. This one's almost at its end. So, alright, so let's get right into it. Okay, so we're going to talk about change work. And we're going to talk about, oh, I know, let me write this down so I don't forget it. Okay, so we're going to talk about, it's hopefully it'll be a short video. We're going to talk about change work and why, I don't know if I should say it this way, but sometimes it can be tough to change, okay? And I'm going to give you an idea of what's going on. I'm going to use a phrase. So it's, in order to become who you want to be, you have to let go of who you think you are. I believe I made that up a couple years ago. I might have heard from someone, but I don't think so. So let me say it again. In order to become who you want to be, you have to let go of who you think you are, okay? The thinking part is not who you are. That's just a program. These are patterns. These are programs. The problem is when you do this, you can have a complete collapse, an emotional collapse, because the third part of it is, it's like you have to let go of who you think you are, your identity, your ego identity, I'm going to call it, okay? Your id or your ego, whatever you want to call it. It's because you're like, well, this is who I am. Now, let me just go through this real quick and I can talk freely. So what happens is I don't want to say a lot. It depends on the person. And this is what I wrote down. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I'll go over that a little bit more in a second. So what happens is people, they want a better life. They want to make more money. They want to lose weight. They want to apply for a better job. They want a girlfriend. They want someone who treats them better. Whatever. The challenge is this. So those are what's called things on the outside of your body, which would mean the external world. So inside your body, your emotions, your feelings, your physical, emotional body, that's the internal world. This is who you are inside, okay? So the challenge with some people, not all people, is like, well, I want a better car. I want a better life. I want a better house. I want a better job. I want to apply for a better job. I want a girlfriend. I want better friends, whatever it is. And that's all fine, by the way. The challenge is this. The reason why you don't have what you want is because of what's going on inside, period. Here's the challenge. I remember a long time ago when I was first learning psychology and all this stuff, a lady had said to me, she wasn't a psychologist, but she was I think she had her bachelor's or master's degree and she was trained in it and she worked at some facility. And she said, well, how did she say this? She goes, it was about my mother. Okay, I'm going to use this. I think it's okay. It's not a bad thing. She said, well, has there ever been a time, because she had learned from my sister actually that, how did she say it, about my family and about things that have been going on. This is the first time I met her. I'm like, yeah, okay, what's going on? And she had said, she knew that there was a lot of chaos in my family. Let's put it that way. A lot. And she said, has there ever been a time, Michael, when things were good, things were peaceful, kids were getting good grades, and money was good, the bills were paid, there's plenty of food? It's like, well, yeah, of course. I mean, of course there was times like that. And she got real quiet. She goes, well, what would happen? I was like, what do you mean? She goes, just think about it. When you were at those times when things were really good for a week, maybe even a month, she goes, what invariably would happen? I was like, I don't know. Chaos would be created, all right? And I thought, there have been times when things were really, really good, going like just cruising along and everybody was happy. And I was like, yeah, she would always find a way to get mad at something or create chaos. Here's what she said to me. She goes, here's why. Even though anyone, it could be my mother, it could be me, it could be you, it could be anyone. Even though things are going really well and calm and smooth and moving forward and everything's fine on the outside world, what happens is this. Even though, well, I'm going to have to use my mother, for example, because I've already started it. Even though she wanted things to be good, she wanted the bills to be paid, she wanted things to be peaceful, what would happen is she would create chaos, okay? I was like, but why? She goes, because even though she doesn't like, now this could be anybody, this could be me, this could be you. Even though she doesn't like all these problems, she's used to it. She's comfortable in that environment. In that environment of chaos and problems and yelling and screaming and stress and worry, that's what she knows. I was like, huh. And she goes, even though she doesn't like that, within this circle of influence, we'll call it, she knows how to deal with this stuff. So when you pop her out of that environment and everything's peaceful, it seems foreign to her. It seems odd. It seems weird. And so then she begins to stir the pot and create the chaos, because that's the world she knows how to live in. That's what she's lived in her whole life.
Now, here's another factor. Beliefs. Beliefs are powerful, but beliefs are not real. And you can change a belief just like that. I know that because I've learned it in NLP. There's some very simple techniques where you can change your beliefs. Sometimes just becoming aware of that, you can change your beliefs. So now watch this. If you believe life is chaos, when things become peaceful and good and prosperous, your belief says, well, that's not right. That's not real. And you unconsciously will begin to create chaos and poverty and all kinds of things. So that's why you have to be careful of what your beliefs are, and you have to choose what you want to believe versus just accepting what you were taught as a kid or whatever. For example, if you lived in a family that was chaotic and in poverty, etc., when you get away from that family, let's say you marry a rich man, right, or whatever, after a period of time, you will begin to create chaos because you believe, well, this is the way life is, right? All right, so another example is someone years ago, about 25 years ago, it was a female. She had said, well, that's what relationships are all about. They're all about arguing and fighting. I was like, no, they're not. She goes, oh, yes, they are. That's why you get into a relationship. And I was like, oh, God. So here's the deal. This person's life was constantly arguing and fighting and getting a relationship, breaking up, getting married, getting divorced. It was horrible. But that's what they truly believe relationships are about. So therefore, they created it unconsciously.
The reason why I'm saying this is because, number one, I've done it before. I've had clients come to me who were like, I don't like this in my life. I don't like that either. And yet they wouldn't let it go. They kept creating it. And then after a period of time, I'm like, wow, why do I keep doing that? I'm like, because that's what you identify with. It's like in your mind, in the image, the story in your mind is, well, this is the way life is. Because it's been this way since I was a child, or since I was 12 years old, or since my parents got divorced, or since whatever. Or since I graduated from high school and went out in the real world. This is just the way the real world is. No, that's just an image or a movie or a story of what you think the real world is. And it is based off of your real life experiences. I'm not denying that. But those real life experiences are that way because of the image you have in your mind. It's like you'll recreate it because when we pop you out of, okay, here's a good example. So let me finish that. When we pop you out of that, you're like, okay, this is weird. This is odd. It's just exactly like, let's say you graduate from college and you get a big corporate job, and there's a lot of wealthy people, a lot of powerful people, but it's a beautiful building. It's professional. It's gives you prestige. You get a big paycheck. It's everything that you've dreamed of. Now that you're out of this other world, now you're in this brand new world that is new, that is different. It's freaking scary. It's just like the first time you went to kindergarten. It's the first time you went to high school, the first time you did anything, the first time you moved to another state or another city. You're not comfortable at first. So a lot of people will unconsciously find ways to get fired. They'll find ways to screw it up. And then they go back to the way they were, and then they begin to complain. And this is okay. In one of the, I think it was the last video, or no, the first video of this series, the video before that, not the last one, but I believe the video before that, is I talk about, oh, I just lost it down. But it's when you have this identity of who you think you are. Oh yeah, I know, I got it. It's when you repeat the story. So I was talking about professional athletes and how they get really good at creating this focus. And so I talk about, NLP and hypnosis. It's like, well, what I do really is dehypnosis or unhypnosis, because I take people out of their trance. And that's all it is. It's just a trance. It's a movie that's unconsciously playing in your mind. So when it's like, okay, this is what it was. So I was talking about how the difference between the work I do versus, say, I don't want to, say therapist or psychologist is a lot of, okay, because I had this experience recently. Someone came in thinking, well, I'm just going to sit there and dump all my problems on this guy. I'm like, that's not going to help you. If dumping your problems on me or it's like a lot of people think if I just tell this story and get them to understand, then I'll feel better. No, you won't. Maybe momentarily, maybe for an hour, maybe for a day. But what I talked about is you can't change what's going on inside you by repeating the movie over and over and telling the same story and over. And I was talking about pattern interrupts. Again, that was about 2 videos ago, or maybe last video, but I think it was the video before that. So it's called pattern interrupts. And so when you start telling your story, it's like you're just recreating the whole movie over again. You're playing the movie again. And that's what we do. We get stuck on a couple movies in our head. And then it recreates the same problems that we've always had. Now, here's why. It's because we're used to those movies. We're used to that lifestyle. Okay? So, okay, I got it. Okay, this happens to prisoners a lot. And also people that come out of the military. Okay? And probably other situations. Probably coming out of college. You've been in this educational world, you're this box your whole life, and then now you've got to go out in the real world. Whoa, like this isn't the way it used to be. Like, no, because it's a real world, or it's a different world. Even coming out of the military, I remember coming out of boot camp. It was like the world changed. It's like, dude, I think I was gone for like, how many weeks was that? 12 or 13 weeks, I think I did training. Maybe 15. When I came back to the real world, as everything was different. I looked at my brothers and sisters different. My neighbors, like, what the fuck's wrong with these people? I thought they were weird. Even TV changed. The commercials were different. The movies were different. Everything was different. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So when someone's been in the military a long time, especially if they've gone off to war, they try to come back to this world, and it's just like they can't deal with it. Same thing with people that come out of prison. They're so used to, they've been in prison for 2 or 3 or 4 years or longer. They're so used to being told what to do, when to wake up, when to go to sleep, when to eat, when to shower, and then when they go in the real world, all of a sudden you think, but they've got their freedom. Yeah, but now they have all these choices, and it overwhelms them. All right? So I hope I've made that clear. So let me go back. So here I was. This is not just one, but I'm going to use one in particular. Working with someone, giving them the golden nuggets of change work. Because here they were in this real miserable, chaotic life, and they were not happy. You would think, well, they're going to change. No. So here I was teaching them techniques that was like, oh, this is absolutely what you need to do. Like, I would even tell them, like, hey, you need to go to acupuncture, because to go from here to where they wanted to be was too big of a leap. So they need acupuncture. Think of it as a 3D in the 5D world, the spirit world, okay? This is the 3D physical world. So acupuncture is it's like a transfer, because they use needles, which is physical, but it helps them to open up a little bit, Okay, so I said, hey, here's the things that you need. You need to do yoga because, again, that's physical. You stretch, you get your body involved, but it opens up your mind, it opens up your spirit. Okay, and they're like, no, I don't want to do that. I was like, okay, well, how about acupuncture? Well, no, I don't do acupuncture. Okay, well, how about that? No, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, holy fuck! And then so I taught him some of the techniques that I work with all my clients, and he's like, oh, I really want that's bullshit. Oh, I don't believe in that. And I'm like, okay, now here's really what was going on. This person's identity of who they were, even though they didn't like it, was, okay, this is right here. This is my point of this whole video. I know it's been going a little longer than I wanted. They're like, this is who I am. And that's what I've been trying to say. A lot of people are terrified of letting go of that because then they're like, it's like having a car without a frame or a building without a framework. You feel like you collapse. You feel like you're water in the wind. You're a puddle. You have no control. So that's the thing, is you think you have control over here. Really what it is, you've got the brakes on in your car and you're not going anywhere. And that's the frustrating part. On the one hand, I'm holding the steering wheel. I've got the brakes firmly on and I'm safe. I know how to deal in this world and I'm not coming out. But you're also not going where you want to go. So let me go back to when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I was giving this person some gold nugget techniques that had blown. I've worked with people with their doctorate degrees in psychology from Harvard, Berkeley, Stanford, et cetera, and they were like, what the hell is this? Like, wow, this is amazing. Because you open up, you feel peaceful, you feel grounded, you feel content. And I'm looking at this guy like he literally does. I couldn't get mad at him. He literally doesn't understand the gold that I just handed. He doesn't know it's gold. Has no clue. All right. When someone really is ready for change, they will do anything and everything. Like, look at my life. I was going to acupuncturists. I was driving an hour and a half from out of San Francisco to see the greatest acupuncturist. And a lot of people say in the United States, if not the West Coast, Dr. Chen. He's from Shanghai. Everyone I met in acupuncture was like, oh yeah, I was trained by him. Oh, he's the best. Oh, he's the best. And he is the best. That guy was, oh my God. I don't know if he's around anymore. But that's what I was doing. I was spending a lot of money on this. I was going to this therapy, this therapy. I was going to Tony Robbins seminars. I was meditating for an hour, 2 hours, up to 10 hours a day. I'm serious. I did anything and everything, and I never fucking quit because I wanted to change. I was sick of the anxiety. I was sick of the struggle. I was sick of all this stuff that was going on. When you're ready to change, you will do the techniques to the maximum effort. And then you'll see the light, and then you'll pop, and then you'll be like, holy shit, this is amazing. And that's what you see in a lot of my videos. My clients are laughing like, oh my God, it's amazing. The shift was incredible. I had no idea. All right. So let me see if there's another thing I want to go over here. That's pretty much it. Is people don't want to let go of who they think they are. But when you do, you can become who you want to be and create the life that you actually want. Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. God bless you guys. See you in the next video.
Calling me